Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another Marine ECM test, possibly a repair. It's looking like it's actually not going to be needing a repair, but I always perform a test trying to reproduce the customer concern. If I reproduce it, then I will recommend, in this case, it's, with the MEFI 3 and MEFI 4, I have to actually repair the computer in order to know if it's possible, because sometimes it's not. And I have explained this in multiple videos. This computer has a lot of crystal, kind of like compositive electronic components inside that cannot be replaced, and those are the ones that at the end I can not only say it's not repairable, but only on those cases, very minimum times. All right, so I got the computer connected. Let me show it to you here. So this is, so he can see, this is actually a MEFI 4 5.0 liters. It's a 16237009 Del 5 MEFI 3. Sorry, MEFI 3. I don't know if I said MEFI 4. It's a MEFI 3. And he sent this a couple of days ago. Well, yeah, a few days ago. But you can see this is a sticker. These stickers are very, very unique to Bobo Penta. And that actually triggers a little question to me. And I'm going to show you why. So let me move you over to his information, because I don't have much information, and you're going to see. So he sent me this, just a paper with no serial number, no description of the engine, no engine size, no absolutely nothing. And I have all those lines that you see at the bottom. They actually describe, please describe your concerns and the problems and so on, and engine size, engine serial, but I don't have any of that. But one thing that we see here, and this is very, very unique too, is a 2005 Malibu Wakesetter. That is an IMAR engine, as far as I know. And 2005, it should use a MEFI 4 computer. That's probably why my brain was thinking about a MEFI 4 and not a MEFI 3. So ECN, no fuel injector pulse, and no power sent to fuel pump. If you are trying to connect a MEFI 3 on a MEFI 4, it will not work. They might look the same outside, and the connectors fit. Actually, I'm going to try that in a second, because I have a MEFI 4 here, just to see if the connectors click in it. Obviously, I will power off, just to show you if that is possible. Because what I think it might be happening with Miguel, and I forgot to say, this is Miguel Fernandez from Nevada. And you can see in there, no fuel injector pulse, no power sent to fuel pump, and the computer is running. But my way of thinking is, this might not be his computer or a computer for that engine, especially in a 2005. I have not seen a MEFI 3 in a 2005, and I've been doing this for a very long time. Also, I wanted to address that this computer has a big hit on the cover. Not that it's affecting anything, and luckily for him, this computer had room enough in between the cover, and I put that so you can see in the picture the space in between that center. Something hit that computer right there. But again, it's not affecting the computer. So let me put the diacom, which I have running for a while, and you can see both injector drivers firing. And here I'm using these load box. So the green light that you can see here, where I'm pointing with my finger, are the injectors. You can see two lights. It's two bank of injectors. Each bank fires 4 injectors at the same time. And then the blue light that you see very steadily here is the coil. And the reason it looks like it's almost like just a steady is because it's firing 8 times. So that coil will fire 1 time per cylinder, a cylinder 8 times. So I'm going to move one of the channels to the coil, because I'm right now connecting into both of the injectors. You can see that the blue channel is no longer having a signal on the bottom on the oscilloscope. But then when I move it over to the coil, now we have a very different signal. That is the coil activation or coil firing, right? Because in this case, that is a coil. That is a substituted value for the coil. This is what we call load emulator box, but we can everything. And the test light that you see here, now light up and working perfectly, is a fuel pump relay. So that is his concern. So everything is working properly. So going back into diacom, which is the upper window that you see on the right upper right corner, that is the computer running. I can put, a few things like maybe engine speed, Let me make sure that we have. Yep, you can see now that it's running at 600 RPMs, and I can, increase the RPM. Let's see, right now it's on 700. I can go higher, and you can see how the injection and the coil are now firing more time because, I'm raising the RPMs, right? You see that in there, but it's happening, and I want you to see that all lights are there, so nothing is missing. I'm going to go back to idle again, which is around 600, what I have. I'm going to close that one. I'm going to show you this showing one fault code, and that is a map sensor open. That will definitely give you problems about injection time, but not about the fuel pump. We have 401.23 hours. Yes, you're seeing that. The calibration is a 9EOC, and I checked that calibration. It's specifically for a 5.0 Volvo Penta, which is exactly what this computer is. And everything else, all the values are just what I gave you here. We got 172 degrees of coolant temperature. The manifold air temperature is 73.4. The now injection millisecond based on the manifold air pressure, and the throttle is 0.1 milliseconds. It's a little low, but that is because I'm giving it 12.6 inches of mercury. If I change that, let me just show you how if I raise that, like I'm raising the inches of mercury on the manifold air pressure, the injection change, and you can see that on the injector as well. But everything seems to be working good. So I'm going to bring it down. I'm always just, looking at keeping my values as I usually use, which is in idle, I use 12.6. And these 5.0 computers, they are, usually a low injector pulse width when they're on that low idle. If I change the throttle too, because a little low, should have it like around 7 to 10%. Now I didn't change anything on the injection millisecond. That is the manifold air pressure controls pretty much the injection on here. But if we go over to throttle codes, the only thing that we have is throttle code right here. 34 manifold pressure sensor voltage low, but I guarantee you that if I raise that, it's not going to come back. You see, it's gone. And I say this, so I already say the diagnostic report for the customer, because I always do before I raise, and I recommend you, before you do any test on a boat, before you start unplugging sensors, see what faults you have, take a picture. If you cannot do it like I do here, save the data. But if you cannot do it there, then take a picture like that. You can send that to a technician, to anyone that comes and help you. But if you don't do that and you start unplugging sensors, now you had a whole list of fault codes that we don't know which one were there and which ones are the actual problem or you created. So that's very important to save that data. All right, but yeah, so this is running good. So I'm going to turn the computer off. So I'm going to take the RPM out. Let me put so you can see the RPM is in 0. And I'm going to turn the ignition off. You can see how the fuel pump relay went out, which is normally what it should do. Now we're losing synchronization on the computer, and I'm going to turn it back on. We can see the fuel pump prime, 2 seconds. That's exactly how it's supposed to do. And then when I inject the signal for the RPM, it runs instantly. We have coil, we have injectors, and we have fuel pump. So this is where I'm thinking that this is something, either a wrong computer for that setup, or something else is going on here. All right, but let me turn all this off now that we see what is happening. So I'm going to turn the RPMs off and turn the computer 100% off. I'm actually going to turn my power supply of 100%. So now you see there is no power here at all, because I want to disconnect his computer. And this is again a MEFI 3. Give me 1 second. So what I have right now, what happened with the image? Okay, you're there, right? Yes. Now what I have here is a MEFI 4. Let me just make sure, because I think it has, it has some customer information. So let me erase that 1 second, guys. I don't want you to pick up the customer's name or anything because he has not allowed me to do that. Some people are very keen or very on that, and I don't want to make a problem. I just mark it, but I can always just remark it again. All right, so let me just get you close to that. Focus. Camera sometimes, or okay, now you can read. So that is a MEFI 4. Right here it says MEFI 4. And the part number for this one is 125840. Sorry, 12584042. So this is a MEFI 4. Now let's see if it is just going to connect. So this is connector 2. And this is connector 1. And you see what I'm talking about? It's exactly same connector. And it fit like a glove, right? So, Miguel, I think that you might have the wrong computer onto your boat. Because, like I said, I think that based on the year that you have there, your computer should be a MEFI 4, not a MEFI 3. But, yep. All right, guys. So, I think that it's a short test. I can prove now that indeed MEFI 3 can be connected on a MEFI 4 connector, or vice versa, and that can somebody change that computer, or they maybe got that one from eBay and they told her what's the same. They just plug it in and see if it works, and that is not the problem. I mean, I'm just doing a guess, right? Because based on the year, that boat should have. It says it's a Wakesetter. That doesn't tell me if it's a monsoon or what it is. But I'm guessing that is a 5.0, maybe a 340 horsepower. And that should be a 5.7, not a 5.0 MEFI 4 computer. I'm just guessing based on experience. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful for all of you. But Miguel, this computer is good. Nothing I need to do with that. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Please, if you're here in the channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.